Welcome back to another edition of Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Kaitlyn White, and joining us today is men's basketball coach, Vince Alexander. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Kaitlyn.
So I see y'all are in the midst of a 5-game stretch that spans just 10 days. How difficult is that for you and your team?
Well, I mean, it's difficult for any team. Our team is difficult in that, you know, you have to try to strategically figure out ways to rest your players so that their bodies can recuperate. I think we've done a great job so far in being able to do that. But you do have to figure out ways in practice that you can get them to play at the intensity that you want them to play at, but at the same time not have as much contact and you know, physicality, I guess.
Right. So let's talk briefly about your past 2 outings. What was the biggest difference for your team in the second half against Young Harris compared to the first? Well,
I mean, obviously the first half we didn't play very well. I don't think we were playing at the intensity that we need to play at. I think our guys realized that, and at halftime we made a few adjustments to some things that we were doing, and you know, by the grace of God, you know, it paid off, and those adjustments went well, and of course we were able to turn that game around. I don't know what the run was, but I know we were down 11, so it had to be a pretty good run to turn it around. So it worked out in our favor, thank God.
Yes, sir. So the 98 points scored against North Georgia was the most your team has put up since January 2013 in the win against Francis Marion. You shot over 50% from the field. What, if anything, were you not pleased with?
I wasn't real pleased with our execution. I thought we did a poor job of executing. I thought we did a poor job of paying attention to some details that we had in the scouting report on their players. Particular ways that they attacked and that they scored. I thought we really lacked focus in that area. You know, a lot of people said, well, you know, you guys, you know, you scored 98 points and you held them to 79. Well, you know, and that's great, and I think we did a good job. And I think the biggest thing you saw in that was our physical condition is so much better than the other team, and our depth is so much better than other teams. So that paid off for us. But I wasn't pleased with our execution. I thought we could have been a little sharper, and we'll continue to work on those things and get better.
So I see Jesse's return to action recently and is starting to see an increase in role once again. Mm-hmm. How has that helped your team?
Well, it helps our team a lot because he's obviously he's the best defender we have. Although Shane has done a very nice job, you know, we thought Shane has dropped off a little bit and needed to be motivated, and Jesse is a very good player. He's a starter in this program the past 3 years. So, you know, our strategy was to get Jesse back out there and get him going. And, you know, he defends real well, and, you know, it happens to be we're playing against 2 of the best shooting guards in the league, besides the #1 shooting guard in the league, which is Warren Zimmerman. Who I believe is the best shooting guard in the league.
Yes,
but we had two guards for North Georgia that are really, really good at shooting the ball, and it was good to have him start off on one of them and be able to, you know, lock them up.
So I see Devontae Wright had a career high of 23 in the win over North Georgia and has stepped up immensely this year. Is that what you expected from him at the start of the season?
Yeah, I think Devontae's a very good player. I felt like that last year. You know, I thought his injuries set him back a little bit last year, but I felt like he's a very good player. Raymond Nelson was obviously an outstanding player. He was a player of the year. But, you know, I said all along last year that Devontae Wright is as good as Raymond Nelson. And I think people are starting to see that now. If not, it doesn't matter. We're starting to see it, and it's for our team that it benefits. So that's you know, all that good with us also.
So you have a tough game against Francis Marion coming up, and I see that it will impact the division race. What will you need to do in a tough environment like that to pick up a win?
Well, we're going to focus on Georgia College first. That's what we do. We don't worry about Francis Marion until we take care of the next opponent. And right now, we're going to do our best, and God willing, we will take care of Georgia College, and then we'll focus on Francis Marion after that. But every game is important right now, and you know, we'll approach every game the same. We're not changing. I don't care if they're 1-10 or if they're 10-1. We're going to approach every game the same with the same intensity, and we're going to prepare and we're going to be ready to play. And God willing, we'll come out on top. We've been very blessed, and we think we'll continue to do those things. So, God willing, that will happen.
So, at the midway point of the season, what are your thoughts overall on your team?
At this point, I think we're a good team getting better, and that makes us very dangerous because we're getting better. And I think if we can continue to improve our execution, and we continue to defend the way we defend and rebound, and then also something that we've really worked hard over the last part of the season is getting better at our free throw shooting, and I think in the last 2 games we've made great strides in that area. So if that continues, and as you will hear me say often, God willing, that happens, we're going to continue to get better, and I think we could be pretty good.
Yes, sir. Well, good luck for y'all in the rest of your season this year.
Thank you very much.
And that concludes another edition of Coach's Corner with Vince Alexander, the men's basketball head coach. I'm your host, Kaitlyn White, and thank you for joining us.